turnover, chopping, and stabbing with your punches. We're gonna go over how that's gonna really help you with your power and understanding why we turn punches over, what different types of turnovers are there, like chopping shots, and when would you stab a punch and not turn it over to get the most out of your power. So first one I wanna talk about is rotation and just being able to rotate my punches, turn them over at the ends of the punches. Very good for very tall type of fighters. So the thing I want you to think about when turning over, don't start turning over, and I'm gonna leave my thumbs out just so you can see the rotation of my hands. I'm gonna leave them flat. When you're turning shots over, don't start turning them over from here. Okay, first off, I'm starting to telegraph my punch with my elbow out, and I'm losing the whole reason why we turn punches over. When we turn a punch over, it's to help our elbow so I can get full length, okay? So if I leave my thumbs here and I throw a punch all the way out, boom, my thumb is where my elbow is. So if I turn my hand over, my thumb and elbow line up. If I turn it down, my thumb and elbow line up, the inside of my elbow. Hyperextension on elbow. So if I'm going here, you're gonna be afraid to get your punches all the way out because you're gonna hyperextend them if you throw them with leverage. So if I start turning them over too early, I'm still gonna buckle it at the end, okay? So you wanna think that at the end is where I'm gonna rotate, okay? At the end. I'm not starting my elbow too early. That rotation on the joint is keeping your joint from locking out, okay? So that's really big reason why you turn your punch over. Plus, I lock that punch in at the end, okay? I cause more leverage, okay? When throwing a punch and turning my hand over, think about don't turn your hip over too early either. I don't wanna start turning my hip right away. I wanna push, rotate. So when I'm throwing that shot, my hip doesn't rotate and turn over until my hand turns over. So I push, rotate, push, rotate. Okay, that way I get the full length in the punch, I get the snap at the end, and then I get the release, the unlocking of that hip. Okay, same thing with a jab. Thumb stays up, I overlock, hyperextend my elbow. Okay, if I start turning over too early, hyperlock. Okay, very easy to parry a shot too. If I'm not turning it over, it's very easy to hit that arm. I'm gonna bring Justin Gaethje in real quick. So if he's defending and parrying my jab, okay, and I start with my elbow out, it is so easy. It's almost like he doesn't even need to do anything to parry my jab. It's not coming in. So if you just go ahead and just keep it close, it's hard to get a jab through because look at where my elbow position is. You can see that my elbow is out, so I'm not getting a direct line. It's easy to get through. So if you're just holding your hands in position, I need to get through this, okay? So my elbow has to stay tight to get through that pocket, okay? Same thing with the right hand. If I'm throwing the right hand like this, it's very hard to get a direct shot, easy for him to block. I need to release at the end, boom, where I'm coming down the pocket, okay? So that rotation and keeping your punches very narrow, very important. Think about, this has been a great way for me to describe it, is you got a faucet on the side of your house where your hose is. Think about, you need to turn it off with your left hand and then turn it back on with your right hand. So at the end, I grab it at the end, boom, and rotate. Boom, at the end. So get that rotation at the end. Boom, 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 at the end. Like to do my hands loose to show you we can start grabbing shots, but that rotation is key. I believe the most powerful turnover is the chop, okay? And the chop, think about if my hand was like this, okay? And I want to get my top knuckles to turn over on someone. When you were in high school, did you ever punch someone in the arm like that? Where you just go by them and you just knuckle them?
A couple times.
Let me feel.
That's how I love.
No, do it from the side, like a side chop. Right, yeah, that one. Dude, the ones that cause froggers, where it's just top knuckle, okay? Getting that top knuckle to chop over. This to me is such a powerful shot. Now I'm gonna have you, I'm gonna get a right mitt for this one. I'm not doing this one barehanded. So what he's gonna do, now we're gonna start off with bad technique on the elbow. I want his elbow to be out on this one because I want you to really just see the chop on the hand. This is actually how Justin, he was the master of this punch when I first met him. I seen him fight live and he had this chopping right hand. You could tell he hit so damn hard, but the technique was awesome, man. Okay, so I want you to almost throw it like you used to. Elbow out and then chop towards the ground. Yep, let's do it again. And he's not throwing it hard right now. Again, just showing technique. So you're adding a lot of turnover with the thumb turning down. Yeah. Let's just chop. Ha, that, again. Ha, wonderful. When you start to throw this shot, if you start to get any type of hand problems, this punch is so powerful because you're driving through. This one will, if you're hitting too heavy of a heavy bag or a very heavy mitt holder or a tie pad, something that's hard. Be careful with these choppy shots because again, this really jams all those joints, but again, causes the most leverage. Again, you'll notice as a mitt holder, I'm rolling my hand so I'm not hurting his hand. I'm trying to get that chop down. Again. God, kills my wrist. It's crazy how powerful that shot is. There's about 3 of them in that one. You can see his glove wrinkling up right here, peeling up. See that wrinkle going across? It means he's pulling that leather back every time he's hitting with that chop. Get those power knuckles to lock in when throwing shots. This, again, the chop shot is a very, very important power shot. So I want to talk about the turnover. So we were talking about a turnover with the tall fighter at the end. A turnover also works really good for when someone closes the gap. Okay, so let's say we're in our stance and I start coming in to his attack and he goes to start to throw a punch. If I come inside, his turnover has to be on contact when closing the gap. And what I mean by that is if I'm here, he can still throw a tight elbowed right hand, but his elbow turns over on contact and it's almost like he punches the ground. Okay, so I want you to think about if you had a beer mug in your hand, okay, that your thumb is up and then you're pouring the beer out on contact to shorten your right hand. It doesn't mean that we have to throw a shot like this because he's closing the gap now and I have to do a shot like this. I can still throw a tight shot and rotate through and get that turnover. So I'm gonna have my hand right here. He's gonna push his punch and then he's gonna rock his hips and turn that shot over all the way to the floor. Hi-ya! Let's keep this a little tighter. Hi-ya! Wonderful. Rip your thumb over on contact. Hi-ya! Good. Again. Hi-ya! Beautiful. Again. Hi-ya! That's the one again. Hi-ya! Hi-ya! So when we're learning these long turnover shots, okay, if someone comes in close, now I'm gonna really rip that hand over. It's gonna really help you get the full amount of your punch without trying to open your wings and throw a short shot having to be a wide hook, okay? Shortening your punches and still keeping them short. Let's talk about this a little bit. Uppercuts, I see a lot of people just throw an uppercut like this. To me, I like to rotate because when I turn my hand and rotate, it's not just the rotation on the hand that helps the power, it forces my hip to work. It's funny how our body works. Like if I throw here, boom, or if I throw here, boom, now I'm like really driving my hip in. So rotation works with all the punches that you throw, you're gonna get the most out of your hips. Rotation is so effective. Now, do we rotate and turn our punches over all the time? No. Do you know when we don't?
When we're stabbing.
Yeah, stab. Where do you stab it?
Their heart.
Their heart. This freaking guy, dude. You know what I'm saying? Look at my right hand right now. Man, he like a straight murderer. Stab his heart. What do you do with it afterwards? After you stab the heart, what do you eat? I knew you was gonna say some shit like that. Okay, so stabbing. When we hit the body, this is not talked about a lot. Don't turn over your shots to the body, okay? I had a guy ask me one time, he was hurting his hand when hitting a heavy bag, and I said, send me a video of you hitting the bag. And he's like, I just can't, I don't know what it is. Every time I hit the bag, I can hit with any other punch, but a left hook to the body. And he was throwing a left hook to the body with the lead knuckle. Okay, almost like I see left hooks that are taught in the sport a lot. Lead knuckle, great in a fight. Great with a head that's a lot looser than a heavy body. Okay, if you go to hit a heavy bag and you have a knuckle here, your punch is gonna get stuck by the weight and your wrist isn't as strong as the leverage that you can produce against a 200-pound bag or a 200-pound, 170-pound, 140-pound, depending on who you're going against. The weight of the body is a different thing, okay? So I'm not gonna rotate the body. I'm not gonna jab and rotate the body. I'm stabbing the body. I'm using just push weight, okay? So think about like what you do with a sword. You're gonna push it through them, get it back. So when you throw to the body, you stab and you get back, okay? If I throw a hook to the body, I'm not turning my beer mug over. It's just flat, stab through. I'm not hitting this, I'm hitting this. You're stabbing, you're not poking, you're not rotating, you're not chopping through. You are stabbing through them like you're punching 2 feet through their body, okay? If he's hit me with a jab to the body, okay, he needs to go deeper than that. When you stab someone to the body with a jab, you should not just be touching, because then I can adjust my hips and get you. If he jabs through my body, I go to adjust my hips. No, you're good. I go to adjust my hips, and then he's still going through me. He's going through me. If you want to hurt someone to the body, stab through them. We're going to work a little bit on that. Dang, you got a core, bro. Good thing I didn't hit you hard, okay? So when we go left hook to the body, I want you to focus on not rotating. I want your thumb in the exact same position. So when you bring it back, over-exaggerate it. Show where you're going to start from, even if you're opening it too far. But I want your thumb to stay there then, if that's where you're starting from, okay? And now I want you to turn your thumb up a little bit. Yep. Bow right there, and don't turn it, just drive it. That. There's no rotation. He's focused on all his leverage coming from here. Let's do it again. Good. Again. Good. Now we're going to add his hips. I want you to over-exaggerate your hips, okay? But don't rotate this. Drive your hips, okay? Don't think about twist. Think about driving that hip. That's better. Much better. Again, drive it. Good. Okay, we're going to go to a right hook. I'm going to have you swing around. Okay, same thing. When you throw this, your thumb is up, okay? And you keep it in the same position at the angle that you're throwing at. Good, again, drive through me. Good, all the way through my back. There is such a difference, guys. Don't stop on contact. A lot of times on heavy bags, we're like afraid to hurt our hands or whatever. Find a bag that you can punch through. That's not gonna hurt your hands. It might need to be a lighter bag, okay? Because when you go against the same weight of a person, you should be able to put that thing through them, okay? There's such a difference as a holder. I love working on power, but that's probably why my body's so beat up, is I'm very good at telling you, oh yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Do it again.
Do it again, that was good. All right, through me. Break my ribs, come on. Good, you can go deeper than that, come on. That, the finish with the push. Again. Wonderful, one more. Good. Okay, that sucks, but it was really good. That was like a really good sucky punch. That sucked for me, great for him. Stabbing, so when you're hitting the body, forget the turnover. Know when to turn over. I want to snap his head's a handle, okay? If I catch his chin and I turn it over, I get that rotation, that's where you get the knockouts. Think of the spots that you need to hit to be able to cause those KOs. That's where we get those turnovers. We can just turn over right on them. If I'm hitting up here, it's not going to do much. Okay? Find the spots where you can turn those shots over to get those clean knockouts. When you're going to the body, stick. You are stabbing them. Put it through them. Take their heart and eat it, like he said. Stab their body, land to the head, get your turnover, get your rotation, get the most out of your power. Know when to rotate, know when to turn over, know when to chop, and know when to stab.